So then, does anyone feel like they're still like in the same type of cycle with like attracting the same type of people? Or do you feel like you have accomplished where you're no longer in the same repeated cycle?
I'm changing that now. I'm changing that now. And now I get this reverberation of the past. But I'm changing the way I process things. I'm changing the way I consume things. I'm changing the way my mind is. I'm having more control of my thoughts. And it's, it's hard. It's a difficult thing because I need different results. I need better results. I need something. I need to further this existence that I have. So I was attracting the same type of woman. I was attracting the same type of results because I was going through the motions and those things were gravitating to me and I was gravitating to it. So, I just have to deal with these things with a sober mind now.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question, but you said you could deal with it with a sober mind, so you wasn't sober. All right.
So yeah, I think that again a lot of times we do have to get to ourselves and realize where we're fucking up at versus oh it's this person's fault and that person's fault. But when you really, sit with yourself and realize the wrong steps that you're taking, you know what I'm saying? If you're honest with yourself, I think you can steer yourself back in the right direction and away from that type of negativity. But if that negativity is living in you, then you're gonna take it everywhere you go. But did anybody else want to share anything? Y'all quiet tonight. What y'all got for us? Miranda, you ain't got nothing?
I'm moving around the kitchen right now, trying to get this dinner finished. So I'm listening, but I'm not able to speak right now. But I'm listening.
She didn't say come off the mic and lie. Come on, Miranda.
Don't
Now
be
you know you
hating.
ain't in
Don't
no
be
kitchen no
hating.
more,
Don't be
man.
hating. You want some
Don't let
dinner,
him do
G
you like
Billy?
that, Miranda. You
You
know
want
he
some
wants
dinner, G
some.
Billy?
Nah, yeah, I got some. We talking about cycles and contracts, closure. You know what I'm saying? Karmic journey, right?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know. I think people don't understand. I think that's why they say words is powerful because you can make contracts unknowingly. You know what I'm saying? And it's even with the government, right? What like when you read the fine print of a lot of that shit, it tells you that you're volunteering. Like I don't know if y'all like read that, read certain passages, certain parts, versus just signing that shit. It tells you you're volunteering. So I
No,
think
you
a lot
right.
of this shit that people do pay, it do be due to them signing up and volunteering for the penalty. You get what I'm saying? Um, but I guess no risk, no reward, right? So yeah, I'm gonna say that.
No, you right about that, and we got a clip about that also, G. So I'm so glad you brought that up. I don't know if Dream wanna get into that clip.
Yeah, which one is it, Badu? Because
Hold
you
on,
sent a few.
I'll
Or
help you
which one
find it.
specifically? Um, while she's finding that one, I actually also think that karmic relationships can be looked at as a positive thing as well because both of you have something to learn, or that person is there to help you learn something that you have not, um, I would say, accomplished. And then once it's accomplished, you just both go your separate ways. Or once you've actually completely learned that life lesson, which could have been something in a good sense that you really needed to learn.
Do you think the karmic relationship has to be like both parties have to be karmic? Like, could you just be there karmic partner and they wasn't really bad. You were just a bad person, or the lesson that they had to learn. If I'm
Absolutely.
asking.
Check
Absolutely.
your check your telegram, Dream.
Okay. Yeah, you could have been that person's lesson. Like you were their karma.
And that's a fact.
Because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I don't think I experienced a mutual karmic relationship, but I definitely feel like I have been somebody's karma before, and I was a lesson that they had to learn.
That's
And
what you
that's why
gonna
they
blame it on?
that's why they call you toxic, baby.
That's what she gonna blame it on. That's crazy.
That's what y'all don't hear the accountability in my throat.
I
Here,
don't hear
here's the clip.
I don't hear any accountability. Dream finna play the clip for you. You there,
Tied
Dream?
into spiritual contracts with the corporation. What if I told you that in the background, in behind the scenes of the illusion, that you were being signed into spiritual contracts that you had no knowledge of? Would you believe me? Would you believe me if I told you that you, your heirs, your executors, your administrators, your bloodline was bound to spiritual contracts in a covenant, jointly and severely, without your knowledge, without your consent? Would you believe me? What if I could prove it to you? Would you believe me then? All right, stay tuned. TikTok. These videos are for informational and educational purposes only. I am not by any means giving legal advice. I am not spreading misinformation. Neither am I attempting to trade or sell tobacco. Okay, let's go. Here you are reviewing the performance bond, aka SF 246. And it reads, obligation. We, the principal and the surety, are firmly bound to the United States of America herein, after called the government in the above penal sum for payment of the penal sum. We bind ourselves, our heirs, executors, administrators, and successors jointly and severely. However, where the sureties are corporations acting as co-sureties, we, the sureties, bind ourselves in such sum jointly and severely, as well as severely, only for the purpose of allowing a joint action or actions against any or all of us, for all shown opposite of the penal, opposite the name of the surety. If no limit of liability is indicated, the limit of the liability is the full amount of the penal sum. Condition. The principal has entered into a contract identified above. The above obligation is void if the principal, check this, one, performs and fulfills all the understandings, covenants, terms, conditions, and agreements of the contract during the original term of the contract and any extensions thereof that are granted by the government, with or without notice of the sureties, and during the life of any guarantee required under the contract. Now, some of y'all didn't understand that, right? But what is a performance bond? When a bond goes out, there's a bid bond, a performance bond, and a payment bond. The performance bond means that you, the principal, is co-enjoined with the surety, meaning that you are bound together. Any requirements, conditions, terms are obligated, you are obligated to fulfill. Show up to court, do probation, get house arrest, pay the court fines, etc., right? But the word that I want you to look at is covenant. Covenant. Hold on. Before I begin to read, I once again must reiterate that TikTok, these videos are for informational and educational purposes only. I am not by any means giving legal advice. Neither am I spreading misinformation. All of this is fictitious. None of it's real. I'm just talking. Don't nobody pay me attention. Now, I asked ChatGPT, what is a covenant in the performance bond? A covenant is not just a legal term, it has roots in biblical, spiritual, and commercial realms. At its core, a covenant is a solemn binding agreement, promise, or a contract between parties, often invoking a higher power or a law. So when they say you're entering into a covenant in these performance bonds, here's what's happening. One, commercial covenant. In law, a covenant is a promise to do or not to do something which attaches to the land or contract and binds heirs, assigns executors. So when the performance bond says that the parties are jointly and severely bound by this covenant, you, the surety, agree to carry full responsibility of the performance. And if one party defaults, all others are still on the hook. This obligation passes down to heirs and assignees, aka generational debt, is left unrebutted. All right, check this out. The spiritual magical covenant. The term covenant appears also in the Bible, occult practices, and secret societies. When you agree to a covenant without full knowledge, it's a witchcraft by consent. You're especially saying, I agree to act as a vessel for the fictional entity to bear its liabilities and to bound my heirs and estate into this ongoing obligation. That is why it says we bound ourselves, our heirs, our executors, and our administrators. So you think it's a coincidence that Uncle Joe went to jail, then your cousin Joe went to jail, and then cousin Joe's son went to jail, and everybody just keep getting locked up, bound up in the system in some form or fashion? You think those that have been considered ward of a state, they now their offsprings are wards of the state? This is a real contract. This is why if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only.
So yeah, my G. I mean, like we talk about all the time, like it's an illusion of inclusion, and they got us all under a spell. Even when we come in here, like me, saying, "Hey, you got to do your spiritual work every day." You know what I'm saying? We're all connected in some type of way. You don't know what's going on when you leave outside of your house. Hell, you don't know what's going on in your house. But yeah, my G, that's how they got us. They got us fucked up.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy how you can get trapped in that cycle
A spell. It's a
unknowingly. You know
spell.
what I'm
It's a
saying?
spell, my G.
I'm over here still processing that because God, whoo wee.
But what y'all got for that, G? You want to comment on it? Or anybody? Miranda, you know that's right
Yeah,
up
because
your
I
No,
was.
alley. Go ahead, y'all.
Oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, G, you can go ahead if you want.
Yeah, you got it, G.
Well, yeah, nah, I'm just tripping about, you know what I'm saying, the contracts and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, like if you get in it, how do you get out of it? You know what I'm saying? Cause like, who the fuck want to be trapped in a cycle of fucking turmoil? If that's the covenant that you made unknowingly, you know what I'm saying?
You
That's
don't
like,
have to be. I think that you can break it. Well, I know you can break it. I mean, spiritually where you are and, what I'm saying, what you do on your 1-2, I think that you can break that. I don't think, what was happening to the people in your family before you has to continue for you and your generation. It's all up to you, God.
I would say, from a physical standpoint, like us being physically in this world, to break that line of a contract, covenant, however they want to put that, I think that would take a person making different decisions than what their family have made in the past. And I don't mean just from a curses standpoint, because I also believe that there's some individuals that's gonna come through your family that don't carry nobody's karmic debt, and they're gonna spend time in their life trying to figure out why is it that they feel kind of lost in life until they finally realize what their purpose is. And I will admit that maybe I'm speaking from a, well, maybe I am. I'm speaking from an insular standpoint. I truly believe that my job is to break the traditions of what my family has typically done spiritually. And not to say that what they've done is wrong, but I think, let's say, for the next phase of life or for the next generations to come within my family, I feel like there's a family member or family members that are actually a part of a family, and that's where, with that individual or those individuals in particular, is actually where it's going to begin for the next 100 or 200 years of this family. And if that person doesn't step up to the plate, then that family is going to continuously either be lost or stuck in the train of what they have already been doing. I don't believe everybody comes with karmic debt. I don't believe that everybody has a generational curse, even if shit is fucked up within the family members that they have. I really feel like when it comes to that spiritual walk, that's an individual basis type thing. I can give reverence and honor to my ancestors before me, but at the same time, I think my ancestors gave me a job to be the one that's reverenced generations to come. Let's just say that.
I definitely agree with that. I don't agree that we're cursed people. I don't agree in generational curses. I agree that if you're in a certain environment, and of course if your mama doing it, your daddy doing it, your grandmama doing it, that's all you know until you know better. And it is definitely your job to know better and not continue on with that toxic environment if it is that, or, what I'm saying, just something that's not for you. It don't necessarily have to be toxic. It just might not be the way that you want your lineage to continue.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
This is another thing too, right? How do you identify what cycle you trapped in?
So I'm gonna
That's a
go ahead.
Nah, my answer to that, G, is that's a spiritual situation to where you got to literally disconnect yourself from everything, including some of the things that you love. You have to take time of isolation, minimizing your distractions, minimizing your intake of what you ingest, whether or ingest or digest, whether it's food, alcohol, drugs, maybe overstimulating your mind with porn or sports or whatever it is. There's something that can block. There's something that we do in a physical sense, or something that we do in a hey, money is supposed to be in a go. It's something that there's something that we do physically or something that we entertain ourselves with on a regular basis that may prevent us from actually tapping into those things that we are seeking spiritually. And I think that's where you start finding your answers.
So you basically you got to do that like what they call shadow work and all that kind of stuff.
By term, yeah, I'm not big on saying shadow work. As this spiritual thing is steadily opening up, there's gonna be terms just like on Clubhouse when we say advantageous or when we say fuck it, gaslighting, whatever. There's gonna be terms that come with that side, like trending words. Click. I mean, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Some words I just
Clickbait.
don't use. I'll just say some words I don't use. I don't use the word shadow work. I mean, I don't use the phrase shadow work. I understand what people are referencing when they say that, but I don't necessarily say that's what it is.
Also, my G, I feel like even if some things that you disagree with or some things, I always say this, there are going to be some negative things about you, some so-called toxic things about you, but that doesn't mean that it's going to deter you from, what I'm saying, where you're trying to go. And you might actually need that, what I'm saying, in this world and the people that you have to encounter. So I wouldn't
Why you
say
kick me
throw
out the room, you
everything.
faggot nigga? All right, you're bitch. Fucking wild. Fuck you, nigga.
You keep
Fucking
talking out
wild.
your neck, I might fuck Arizona and really fuck your life up, weird ass nigga.
So I wouldn't say throw everything away, my G, but you know what's for you and what's not for you, and what you want to pour into your kids, and what you want to pour into your partner, and what you want for yourself. So I mean, you grew up with these people. You know the type of shit you don't like.
And that brings me back to Toxic's question when she asks, "Could you be someone's karma, or within like that karmic debt that they have to pay?" And the answer to that is absolutely yes. I'm not going. I will say that as a person, everyone has experienced when they did somebody dirty. Not saying you had to cheat, but you were a shitty ass person. And if it's always When I hear a person that's always saying, but I was so good and I did this and I did that and I never done anything wrong in a relationship, but it just doesn't seem like it works out ever for me. Nah, nah, you did something. You just don't want to say what the fuck you did and be honest about it. You were a shitty individual to that person and you were their karma. You just don't want to admit it.